They put us up at the Marriott and Deepika was on my floor and I was like, what's happening? You know, this is like life got me to a place where I'm sharing the floor, hotel floor with Deepika Padukone. Like, that makes no sense.
So we all know Saim Sadiq as the filmmaker who went and won at Cannes, whatever. But who really is Saim Sadiq?
Whoa, that's a big question. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm still 31. I'm just like a regular kid who comes from a very normal upper middle class family. My dad was in the army before. Now he's retired. My mom's a housewife. I have one sister who's two lovely kids who I love, and I've always almost wanted to do this, and now I'm getting to do it. So it's a very, very basic. There's nothing very particularly special about.
Other than the fact that you won.
Other than that, maybe, yes.
So you've talked about how Joyland was something that you mulled over for over 7 years. So what finally prompted you to translate that onto the screen?
Oh, I was working on. I knew 7 years ago. Also, I wanted to make it. It's just that. You need to put in the work and you need to find the money, you need to sort of convince people that you can make a film and you can make a good film. So it was literally that it took 7 years to make it, but and it was mostly, the intent was always there that eventually I wanted to make it. It was just that it takes that much amount of time to make something, at least for me, that it takes me a long time to write, to rewrite again. Like I wrote, I think 13 drafts of the script in those 7 years. We prepped and like we had to find money. It took us a long time to find the money to make it. So just putting everything together, a film like this in particular, just takes about 7 years, especially when it's your first film and people don't know who you are. So, the intent was always there.
So you had quite the star power as part of your team. So was it something that you had thought before that these are the people I wanted, or was it something that just happened naturally?
Well, Sarmad was always going to work on it as a producer because I started with Sarmad, I was his AD. In 2014 and 2015, and he's like one of my best friends and he's like a big brother to me. So he told me that whenever I was studying, and he's like, whenever you make your film, I'll produce it, I'll help you produce it. So that was there. And then of course Apurva was also involved. Apurva was my other producer who came on board from Colombia. Sania came on board a month before the shoot. And Sania didn't want to do it. She wanted to do it, but she was scared of doing it because her part is tricky for certain reasons, and she was like unsure. And then I had to convince her a little bit, and she really liked the story, but she was like, I don't know if I can do this convincingly. Which of course, like Sania said, she can do anything convincingly, right? If she can play a 5-year-old kid convincingly, I'm pretty sure. So she did eventually come on board. But I had a lot of other actors also, frankly speaking, who I was supposed to work with, who said no to me. So it was both ways. Some people stuck around and some.
So Joyland and Darling are both stories that have transgenders in the lead role. So was that a conscious decision that you had made, that you want transgenders in the lead, or was it something that just came about?
It was just a story idea that came to me, which is not the lead either, to be frank. If anything, Heather is the lead, who's played by Ani Junejo. Like, he's kind of the character that binds all the other characters together. But she's one of the most important characters in the film, but certainly not the lead. Like, it's not a film about her entirely. She's a very important part of the story, though. And the story came to me, and then it was a story that was centered around a man, a woman, and a trans woman, and like the journeys that they all three sort of go on together and how they're joined together. Because I wanted to discuss patriarchy, and I was interested in talking about gender and sexuality in a very Pakistani setting, and what it means to a very conservative family, what these concepts which we think perhaps are very liberal or are very, they don't have any sort of, we think that they're not rooted in our society or in our culture, but they are, so for me that was more important. And then of course I found her, and then I made sure that if there is a trans person, that we do it in the right, as right of a way as I could possibly muster up the courage to do so.
So you worked with Sarmat Kusat on both Joyland and on Kamli. So did you guys ever have a discussion where you talked about whether Joyland could become the next Zindagi Tamasha? Was that ever a fear that you had about it?
No, I didn't. Not because I don't know how that would be helpful. Zindagi Tamasha, because I've seen it, is the most normal film.
Yeah.
There is nothing offensive about it for anyone, really. You know, and if that film could get banned, then, you know, that fear, I'm not going to be the bearer of that fear as a filmmaker just because I make independent films that talk about certain things, or that people think talk about certain things. You know, all the filmmakers should be worried about this. Why just the independent ones? You know, the big filmmakers should also be worried about it, because even their films are only as unoffensive as Zindagi Tamasha was. If that film could get into trouble, any film could get into trouble. Not just the small independent ones, you know, which are easier to co-opt in some way. So no, I rejected that fear very early on because it was very unhelpful.
What was your experience like working on Kamli with Sarmat Kusat?
It was amazing. It was pandemic time, so it was short-lived, because I think we were kind of camped inside Sarmad's house for like 3.5, 4 months. You know, I took his guest room, I turned it into my bedroom and an edit suite, and I would just be there. I was just living there for 3 months. I would sometimes lock him out and then, you know, edit a bit and then bring him in to see it, and then we would, you know, have discussions, have some fights, all fun. And I think it helped me a lot, because I hadn't shot Joyland then. I had the script, of course, and we knew we were going to shoot next year. But it helped me because I got to like take 4 hours of footage that Kamli had and then turn it and sculpt it into like 2 hours of film, which then for my, you know, my turn with Joyland, you know, just helped me a lot shooting it, that, oh, this is too fast, this is too slow, this is going to get cut out at the edit. So these kind of things, I think during shooting and also in the edit, of course, I was able to learn a lot and apply it very quickly next year with Joyland. So like, I think it was like, it helped in the way Kamli's making helped Joyland a lot.
We're really excited about it. So do you have like a timeline in mind?
It will be this year, for sure, and it will be in the winters, like after fall and before the winters. We're gonna like announce a release date soon, but we're in talks and sort of finding the right weekend.
So what was your initial reaction when you found out that Joyland had been shortlisted for Cannes?
When we found out we got in, I got an email and it was my birthday. Yeah.
The best birthday present ever.
I know. And it was the only, I usually make a big fuss about my birthdays because I want my friends to come and like, you know, make a big deal out of it. This was the first time I said, no, I don't think I want anything. Like, don't send me shit, and like, I don't care. And I actually didn't feel like I wanted to do a birthday, where usually I'm very vain and I want people to come. And I was like, maybe I'm getting old, I'm 31, I don't care about birthdays anymore. And then I got this email, so I was like, oh, like maybe, you know, the universe had, no, but I was like, oh, maybe the universe had a plan for me, which was separate from, you know, that, oh, it was supposed to be a nice, special day in a different way. I didn't have to make an effort to make it nice and special. It came to me. And it was like, of course, it was 15-20 minutes were great. And then after that, we actually had to finish the film. Because we had sent a work in progress, so we still had to do the sound, we had to do the color. I still had to make some changes to the edit. I had to go to LA to do the post-production. So it was a lot of like 3 months of work that we knew we'll have to do in like 6 weeks. So it was like a lot of stress suddenly also that came to like, we have to make the deadline to actually go to the festival with the real film. It was great, man, because like people that you see on, you know, on TV or like people that you're obsessed about for ages will suddenly just be having breakfast next to you, and you, of course, you just pretend that this is normal, you know, and every day, every 2 hours, you have to just be chill about it and be cool about it, you know, and this keeps happening to you while there's also your first film premiering, you know, and there's like 30,000 people there, and it was crazy. Deepika was living on my floor.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Were you tempted to go knock on her door?
No,
Like,
I'm very scared. But they put us up at the Marriott, and Deepika was on my floor, and I was like, "What's happening?" You know, this is like life got me to a place where I'm sharing the hotel floor with Deepika Padukone. Like, that makes no sense. And you know, Asghar Farhadi was always every day. Like, I love his movies, and he was always every day having breakfast next to us in the same. So it was nuts, like, and you couldn't react to these things because you had to focus on your own film and your own thing. But I was like, no, I need a separate 10 days to just, enjoy the fact that I'm having breakfast with Asghar Farhadi. So it was fun. Yeah.
Do you feel like the bar has been set really high, like you've peaked and now you have to meet that standard after winning at Cannes?
No, not that, but there is an emptiness inside me because I've lived and I've worked on a story for a very long time, and I like people, and so I like characters a lot. So I think like 4 or 5 hours every day I would have these characters to think about, which I don't anymore because now they are who they are and the film is made.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of free time that I feel like in my me time I don't know what to think about, and so I'm like struggling to come up with a new story to be like, oh, like I need something to occupy my brain, and I haven't yet arrived at like a idea which really convinces me or excites me that I can put another 5-6 years of my life into to make a film. So that is for me, that's the pressure. I had these characters to think about every day for 7 years, in my me time when I'm, not able to sleep, or just generally I'm like driving my car. That's who I would think about, all of these characters. And now they're settled, and now they're, out into the world or about to go into the world when the film releases soon. And I don't have anything to think about.